no, gonna get copyright. All right, I have a complaint. Why doesn't anyone make these anymore? That's the complaint. These are the Klipsch KG3.5s, which is weird because kg is kilograms and 3.5 sounds like an amount of kilograms. They certainly don't weigh 3.5 kilograms. These are a speaker from the same year that Black Hole Sun came out. So Klipsch made these from 1994 to 1997. And these were loaned to me by the friend who has all the Klipsch stuff. He's a Klipsch obsessed fucking Klipsch boy. Klipsch boy! But he loaned these to me forever. They've been sitting in my great room. And I tried them in the great room and there was like, because I had fucking RF7s here. And I had other speakers like, but I didn't think to take them out of the fucking echo chamber, which is gigantic, and bring them into like the little intimate space. But I was finally done with the boot carts, finally done with the JBLs, finally done with the monitor audios. I'm like, you know what? All right, let's put them in this room. And you know what? Fuck you, Klipsch. Actually, no, I can't be angry at Klipsch. But I'm kind of angry in general because this type of speaker doesn't exist. And if you please, this is going to be a big community effort. We're going to try to find, does anybody make a small, affordable, I'm going to yell that word because it needs to be affordable, little tower with just like a single 8 and a horn and front ported. It doesn't have to be front ported, it could be back ported. But to my knowledge, like I'm trying to think because I have a pretty decent understanding of the world of the speaker. And I'm like, wait, my own Walshes are an 8-inch with a tweeter, but those are omnidirectional and $2,800 for the pair. So that doesn't count as affordable because this speaker, like in today's money, Klipsch should be able to pull off one of these. And this like, it's cheap box. It's small, old school tweeter, 8-inch driver is like, pfft. If they could pull off a pair of these for $600 a set, they'd sell like hotcakes. Because every tower you get here's a tower. Here's a great example of a tower. The little 570s. And don't get me wrong, the 570s are a better sound quality coming out of those than this. But this is 1994. All right? And I know one of the things that people say is, amplifiers have gotten better since the 90s, obviously. Sources have gotten better since the 90s. We've figured out, design acoustics as far as like lots of things gotten better. And in my humble opinion, speakers have gotten better since the 90s. Like the actual way that we design crossovers, the materials we use for drivers, the way we measure it, we've figured out a way to make things that's a product of that. But we get back to the fact that this is using 5 1/4. So, and it doesn't make, it makes it a little bit narrower, but why doesn't the 8-inch front firing tweeter front little mini tower exist anymore? Because this is great. Because it has enough low end because of an 8-inch in a giant box that a subwoofer is like actually on the fence. It isn't like with this where it's like, those do pretty good bass when I had a subwoofer. These do actual low end. And you can get quality sound out of an 8-inch two-way because they do it all the time in like studio monitors. No one's ever complaining about a studio monitor doesn't have good tonality. So you could do it. And the fact that these are performing as well as they are, being from literally the fucking year Jurassic Park aired in theaters, it doesn't air in theaters, I guess I played it in theaters. It boggles my mind because it's butt simple. You're butt simple. Yeah, this is like every DIY speakers should be just this to start with. Box, 8-inch driver, not a 6.5, not a 5 1/4, not 7 5 1/4, not certainly not 4s, just a quality 8-inch driver and any tweeter you want. Fuck it. Now, because it's Klipsch, it's a horn. It doesn't have to be a horn. But I just, it pisses me off. So if you're in the comments, please, and I know Zoo Audio, that's the name I couldn't remember. Zoo Audio makes stuff that looks kind of like this. It has but they don't use crossovers. And like I've heard a couple Zoo Audio things in practice in like shows, and they're not good. And they're also not affordable. So I'm talking about affordability. And I don't care, made in America, made in China, made in fucking Brazil, I don't care. I just want to know, does anybody know of this sort of arrangement? Just a very basic, very cheap 8-inch or greater front-firing mid-range driver with a horn. Go. Because as I sit here shuffling through tracks and wait.
I was back there in seminary school. There was a person there who put...
I can't play too much of the Doors, but it's like, these are so, like in this little room, they sound big. In the big space, they couldn't compete with the RF7's Durr. But in here, it's like, this is a perfect speaker. And I'm going to go back to people who are watching this and going, Zeos, those are huge. I would never put those in my living room. Do you have any speaker in your house? Any speaker? Is any speaker you have sitting on a speaker stand? Well, then all that we're taking up is a little bit more volume of air, because a decent speaker doesn't have a footprint much bigger than that. Here, look, what could it be like? Maybe an inch narrower? There's a normal size speaker. Actually, this is probably not even as deep as a good speaker. And then what the fuck's the difference if it's this from there down or speaker from there down? Is it just the bulky look of it? I try to have this argument because I'm helping people and they're like, I can't put towers. I can't put towers. Towers are too big. And so, all right, what are you putting there? I'm putting these speakers on these stands. If I put a sheet over a speaker on a stand and a sheet over a fucking tower, they're gonna look identical. They take up the same floor space. So why would you not get the tower version if it's literally just including the stand, and by the way, is probably better? I'm having a couple arguments in this video. It's fine. You guys love that. So yeah, no, I'm just generally upset. I'm not gonna sound demo these because they're so fucking old. The odds of you finding, the odds of me doing a sound demo to kind of enhance your ability to go and search on eBay or something is gonna be fucking nil. Take my word on it. They sound like an 8-inch front-firing horn-based Klipsch. That's fucking good. Skipping tracks, hold on. Oh, I have to be on this side because the computer's receiver thing is there. They perform more admirably than I thought they would. Like, boom, boom. That's the sort of like low end you can't get from like a 5 1/4. Even if you have 2 5 1/4s, even 2 5 1/4s from JBL, you can't just get that big, slow, warm bass tone. So it pisses me off a little bit. It's like, I know, because it's, oh, I want to point out something else before I forget. These speaker grills, which you could actually just leave on, then they look really 90s when you do this. Fucking magnets, bro. 94. I've been doing this YouTube review shit for like 8 years. And I remember when speaker companies had put magnets on and it was like, oh my God, this new innovation. 90 fucking 4 and they've got magnets. Look, magnets here, probably not neodymiums. And they have like metal pegs here. This was innovation, bro. Bro, innovation, bro. So yeah, no, my complaint is that this style of speaker, which the thing is, this is sort of like the bastard child. This is the 90s. No one harks back to the memories of the fucking speakers they had in the 90s. They remember the 70s. Some of them remember the 80s. They certainly remember the equipment, the silver knobs, the preamps. Oh, everything was analog Class A. The war with Japan to get the... No one remembers the 90s. And these aren't as sexy as you would find like the Klipsch Heresies, the ones I have in the basement, to my babies. Those are screaming 70s and 80s. They don't scream 90s, yet they made them through the entire 90s, but no one remembers the 90s. These were lost in that decade. This design was lost in that decade, and it was like, you know who fucked these up? You know who fucked these up? Good, I'm glad I have one more person to complain about. Fucking Bose. My father worked sales in audio video at Nobody Beats the Whiz here in New York. We're there in New York. And he was there when they launched the Bose Cubes, the ones that, like the little tiny ones that, you know, you could, I'm dating myself because I remember them. They used to like pivot. They had like two little fucking fuck you speakers, and they used to twist. And you used to have to get the Acoustimass module to play the low end. And they demoed them at the store my father was at. And so he was a salesman, so they came in and they showed the demo. And what they had was giant boxy speakers on the wall. Like big ones, like fucking huge, like the size of the couch cushion. And they had the little Acoustimass things in it. It was hidden. It was a secret. It was like a big wrap of speaker grill. And then they hid the bass module in the corner. And they played it. And it was like, my father, who is me, but older, knew exactly what the hell was going on. He's like, why does it sound like there's no mid-range? And then they unhinged the things, and there was little tiny fucking bass cubes, space cubes there. And it was like, oh, look, they're so small. And meanwhile, the subwoofers in the corner trying desperately to fucking keep up with the demands of everything that little fucking cube can't do. And those took off. Bose became a household name. People wanted little miniature fuck you cube speakers and a Acoustimass module. Meanwhile, there's no tonality or warmth or bigness to it. And these represent the death. These represent the turnover from this style of speaker to Bose and the mini cubes. It's why the RB42s, which I have sitting on the kitchen counter over there, are an astonishing thing because they are a small speaker and they do a lot of sound, but the Bose fucking setups weren't even getting close to what RB42s can do. So these died when Bose got popular. And all the companies panicked, except for the ones who were just making the biggest just keep making the biggest ones. Because those obviously aren't competing with that, but these were the ones that were in the same price bracket as like a Bose system. And who was gonna buy this big bulky thing if these little tiny cubes could put out almost the same sound? And it was never the same sound, but it was a good shot. So I think had Bose not come around, this would have been like a norm. This should be the norm. This should absolutely be the norm. I should probably talk about the speaker itself, this particular speaker. Banana plug there, signed literally by hand with a thing. They have spikes on the bottom, and there's little caps that screw on over the spikes. So there's permanent spikes with plastic caps on them. And the owner is like, yeah, except when you put them down and they're 20 years old and the spike just decides to go right through the cap and break the cap in half. So you gotta be real careful moving them around. And if you buy a set, make sure you ask if they have the caps. Otherwise, you're gonna have to do something to protect your floors, because just unbridled points, metal points underneath your speakers is probably not the thing you want most of the time. But oh, Massive Attack is playing. Oh, it's so fucking they're just nice. I watched the first 6 episodes of Beastars yesterday. I've never seen Beastars, by the way. And I was like, am I a furry? And then the second episode ended, and I'm like, oh, fuck. And then I watched episode 6 because the plot's so engaging. So yeah, Beastars on Netflix. I'm gonna finish the last 6 tonight or tomorrow. See, I think I found my sound. Like, there are some speakers I want to be like just hit with detail, and I want accuracy, and I want it to just show me what the music is. And there's speakers like this, which do 75% of that, but are just big, warm fucking puppies. These are just big, nice puppies. And I wasn't even going to review them. I was just so like, I don't fucking care. I don't fucking care. And then I realized, you know why I have to review these? Because I want to see them again. I want Mica. Mica has never made I talked about the RB42s. I sold MB42s. I've sold it. I want Mica because I know they make 8-inch drivers because they sell them for in-ceiling installations. They make 8-inch, in fact, Zeos, Link Mica's 8-inch in-ceiling speakers. But put them in a fucking box. Just make a big, it's going to cost a lot to ship. Just put them in a big box. Hell, contract someone in America. Just contract a cabinet maker just to make, this is a dirt simple box. Make dirt simple boxes, and then from China you ship over the Mica speaker, and they just drop it in, and boom, and cross it. You even have ones with the tweeter in the center. It would probably sound fucking great. It'll probably sound fucking great. What else we got going on? Go, next. Marilyn Manson, This Is the New Shit. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I'm using like the monoblock amps and like a $1,300 DAC, and all my music's in flat. There's probably better sound coming out of these than they ever had since their birth in 1994. So, you know, that's one of the things that you think about is like, yeah, these speakers have existed since then, but think about what the sources were in 1994. Think about what the formats were. Think about the amplifiers. I had that Pioneer D1S in my old review space, which I kind of want to get back because that was a Japanese made receiver that did 130 watts per channel with like 0.003 total harmonic distortion. So that's probably a better amp than anything. But like, just this is the flack, baby. For the new shit. You know, there's a reason these should exist, and it's not like, well, they're too big, Zeos. I just proved that if you have a speaker stand and a decent speaker on it, there we go. Actually, that is like almost identical. It's actually bigger. It's taking up the same floor space. You still, I mean, just the fact that I can, ooh, that is, it's the same. So why not that and not this? Why is this? People are okay with this, but people are not okay with this. Meanwhile, this can do so much more low end than this. So you eliminate the need for the closet sub. Everyone's got a closet sub in my future. Everyone's got one of the subs in the closet, which by the way is not on because, you know, you test without it on, then you flip it on when you want to have like fuck you time. So please, and if Klipsch loves my channel, Klipsch sends me all sorts of shit. Bring something like this back, but just gotta come back at the right price. Or, all right, here's my other or. Ready? Ready for a little bit of hyperbole and hypothetical? What? Am I having a stroke? No. I want a $600 pair of these. Could be done. Absolutely fucking could be done. Could probably be done for $500, but I want to like not make it super garbage cheap. I still want it to perform. What if they made a $1,200 set of 8-inch front firing with a single horn, and they made it a DSP corrected and fucking self-powered? Because now, once you're into that mentality, a DSP correction on this, ooh. Because I mean, you literally would not change the box, the build of the drivers. You would just throw in the amplifier and tune it a little bit, and then sell it for a little bit more money. Holy shit! My brain just got an erection because I know how good tuning something with like its own built-in amplifiers, its own discrete channels, balance across. You get one of those WISA systems that wirelessly connects if you really want to spend the money. You know, I think that would be cool as shit. And I kind of want to see it. Why can't I unmute things? I can't play more than that, but yes, this is fucking yes. So here's my thing. People are, since I got the house and I was like, you're going to do DIY speakers? You're going to do DIY speakers? Well, I really don't need to. But if I was gonna, something like this, a little bit taller, I think, because I have them on bricks and I could probably stand to go up another 4 inches, or even like, you know what this design needs? It needs everything that you see there shifted up to the top of the box. There's literally no need for that 2.5 inches of space above the tweeter. Just fucking slam it to the fucking top. In fact, you want to get real fucking fancy. My father had a set of Pulse. Tweeter was mounted on the top and there was a hat. It would look ugly with the hat, but you could totally take this horn and just be like, boom, right there. Just literally, the box is just for the 8-inch, and then, because a tweeter doesn't need a box. People think the tweeter needs like a space behind it. It doesn't. It's just a thing. You could mount it, you could literally glue the tweeter to the top of it. It would serve the same purpose. Just, that would be the speaker I designed. Very, very basic, very plain. You do the port calculations for that, and you just a nice smooth speaker. And then if you want to go crazy, you do DSP corrections. I think you can buy like the mini DSP site. In fact, Zeos, sorry Zeos of the future, could you link the mini DSP plate amp? Mini DSP sells a plate amp like subwoofers have, where you just screw it in the back. I'm not 100% sure if it's for subwoofers only or for like doing the shit I'm talking about, but it'll be worth looking into. It would certainly be worth looking into. Anyway, I'm gonna be done with this video. If you could find the KG3.5s, or I think there's 2.5s, I think there's a couple different versions. If you could find them, and the drivers are in good shape, because the owner told me that these are really hard drivers to find, so he asked me nicely not to blow them up, and I'm just like, put on a different song and try to blow them up real thick. Oh yeah, they're efficient as shit too. I know from because I have the same amps and the same pre on the same DAC, and I know exactly the number where I like to be for like the 570s, or I had the monitor audios, or the RB42s. And these are just like 13 out of 38. Meanwhile, the RB42s were like 24 out of 38. There's like a lot more power required. These are just like, yeah, we're just gonna fucking do our thing. Oh God. Oh God, 90s! Oh God! I would love to have ended the video there, but I can't do my outro if I end it there. That would have been cool if I had done the outro before that. Yeah, that was Sonic the Hedgehog's Drowning theme, which used to be my phone ringtone. And it's horrifying. Because if anyone who grew up with Sonic the Hedgehog knows that sound, and if your phone starts making it and you're like, oh God, I'm drowning. Where's my phone? Oh God, fuck. Yeah, no, it's great. It's great. It's terrible. It's great. I'm sure you could find that wave somewhere and try that for yourself and see how much of a palpitation you have. I'm done. Link to me in the description. Other speakers that support this design. Even if they're DIY kits, you probably can't send actual URLs because YouTube is stupid. But just type out like where you could find it, like Thomson.de, and look for this. Because I'm interested to see what's out there. Because I'd love a modern set of speakers with this sort of like, again, cheap, under $1,000. I would consider that cheap. Minimum of an 8-inch. Don't give me nothing with a 6.5. That's bullshit speakers. These little bullshit 6.5s. I want 8s. And yeah, that's it. That's the only criteria. Under $1,000 using a front-firing 8-inch in a tower variant, not a speaker. Bloopers! Coming for the outro. Look at her walk so gracefully in the sun. Yeah, Patreon subscribe star, help feed her and take her to the vet. You like going to the vet? We're gonna go back to the vet. They're gonna probe your butt again, probably. That's your favorite part. You get to see these reviews early. I get to participate in the yard sales, all the things that I've gotten or bought or been sent that I don't need at the end of the month get sold in the yard sale. Oh, I took away one of your speakers. She uses those speakers as like a leaping thing. Come on, you can figure it out. Are you confused? All right, I'll put the speaker back. Don't forget to check out Hi-Fi Guides and the forum. There we go. Try again. There's always posts in the forum about almost everything I've reviewed. Wow, she literally needed that other speaker there because she was like, I'm not doing this with one speaker. You good girl. I can never move those now. Those poor Mackie MR624s. By the way, link to the Mackie MR624s because they are a phenomenal speaker, self-powered, and were my default choice when I moved into this house. And I'm like, I just need a speaker. And now I've used this room as sort of like, this is like my break-in room for speakers. Because I sit here like for hours with the couch cushions turned, and I'm like, got the microphone for talking and vent or Discord. And it's just like, this is my media imbibing area. And so those are my first choice. And I'm frankly pissed I didn't put these in here earlier. These had other things to do. And now I'm going to take these out of here because I've got Swan fucking D300s, stupid 6.5s. I want 8s. Daddy wants 8s. All right, we're going to do a fade out on tubers, and I will see you all tomorrow for not a sound demo, but for another review. Ready, boopers? Here we go. Whee!